Good morning, everybody. My name is Linda, and I am at the home of Pat Caputo here in Enfield, Connecticut. And Pat is the owner of a business called Whimsiquills that she founded back in 1981 that offers information and supplies for a craft referred to as quilling. So Pat has been kind enough to invite me into her home to talk about her craft and to show us some of her beautiful work. Pat, hi. How are you today?
Fine, thanks.
Good. So first off, could you please briefly explain exactly what quilling is for us?
Okay. Quilling is an art form that uses narrow strips of paper, which are then curled and pinched into different shapes to create designs. It's very old. Anecdotally, it goes back possibly to the 13th century, some people say, with the invention of paper. Most of the early examples we have of quilling are done on religious reliquaries and religious artifacts.
So you've actually been quilling for a long time, and you have an interesting story too about how your business evolved. Got started and how your business evolved. Could you share that with us?
I've been quilling for more than 30 years. Started it as a hobbyist. Found a pattern, I don't remember whether it was a snowflake or a pattern, probably a snowflake was the first thing I did. In the 70s, snowflakes and those kinds of things were more readily available in small craft stores. I started quilling, fell in love with it, gave up needlework and all the other crafty things that I used to do because I loved the quilling so much, and started making things, gave them as gifts to my family, who showed them to other people, and before you know it, people were asking me to make things for them. So I started selling my work, also taught some classes, and because the supplies were not so readily available, eventually what I did was start carrying some of the supplies as well. It's just been phenomenal.
So it was actually the issue of not being able to find supplies that ultimately inspired you to start your business.
Right.
That has just blossomed into great opportunities, not only for the suppliers of quilling supplies, but also for the quilling community worldwide.
Right.
Which I think is really wonderful.
Yes, and thanks to the internet, I have people who find me from all over the world. We ship to the United Arab Emirates, to Germany, to Czechoslovakia. I mean, all they have to do is click a button, and it's a fun way to make a living.
Well, I think we're ultimately the most successful at the things that we love to do,
yes,
too.
For sure.
I think that's probably the case with you.
Yeah. And people say that when they come in. I have customers who come in and they'll say, "And how long have you been doing this? And you're not tired of it?" No, because there's something new I can do tomorrow.
It's endless, the possibilities, right? The creative possibilities. And you're actually designing kits as well for some of the supply, or one of the supply companies?
Paplin Products out of Ohio, I design their kits. And I design all my own. I don't design patterns as such, but all my work are my own designs. I don't follow patterns. When I teach, I don't do that very often anymore now just because of time, but I try to teach people just the basic and not give them a pattern to follow, because I think it can be stifling to their creativity. Teach them the basics, the shapes, and then say, okay, do something, have fun with it. And it's amazing to see the different things that people come up with.
And a lot of this now too, again, because of the internet, you've started a blog where you can, a lot of your of the quilling community can actually share their creations and their ideas and inspire others. And
I started the blog as a way to, I had people that would call and ask questions or email me with questions, and we started the blog thinking, well, we would address some of those issues. How do I do this, or where do I find that? And then, as I was going through the internet, I would find these other quillers who do this awesome work. And so I started contacting them and asking them if I could feature them on the blog. And it's been wonderful. There's a really neat lady in Israel who does really great stuff, and it's amazing how many people are looking for Jewish designs, not just a dreidel, but other things. And she does great stuff. There's a 15-year-old girl up in Massachusetts who asked me for a pattern to my teacup that I feature on the website, and I wrote her just general directions because I don't have a pattern, and said, this is how I did it. I did it in an actual teacup. This is how you start. The teacup she created was unbelievable. She's 15 years old. She's only been quilling a couple of years. It's given me an opportunity to meet and feature some really, really great quillers.
And be inspired too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. Yeah.
So could you show us some of your pieces?
Sure.
Okay.
Would you like to see the teacup, the actual teacup?
Sure, I'd love to.
This has become my signature piece.
Oh my goodness, that is exquisite.
And the interesting thing about this is this came about because I happen to be a tea drinker. My mom is a tea drinker. And we always give each other tea-related things. You can see there's a teacup mobile over there. And I decided to quill a teacup for her. And so I quilled the teacup and then was contacted by a museum, Exhibits USA. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I haven't.
They do traveling exhibits.
Okay.
And they asked if I would submit a couple pieces for this traveling exhibit. So I gave them the teacup, the original teacup, and I think it was the monarch butterfly. And they traveled around the United States for 3 years. It was really neat, really exciting. And when they went to Florida, I called my mom, and she went to see the teacup in Florida because she didn't know she was getting it. And then after the exhibit was over, I mailed her the teacup, so she has it. And this is the second one that I did. But
what a beautiful memento for her. It traveled all over the country for everyone to see.
I have her teacup collection. My sisters and I, when we were kids, used to buy her a bone china teacup for birthday, Mother's Day, whatever. And she's 86 now, and she's in a retirement place. And she said, would you like my teacups? And I said, absolutely. I have them all on display in my kitchen. And I said, I promise you I will use them. And so this just seemed like the perfect thing, you know, for her, the quill teacup. And then I did a teapot to go with it. There's my teapot.
Oh, how pretty.
And I did him on a teapot. He's not the most wonderful. I'm going to do another one someday, but I just wanted something to go with the teacup.
It's remarkable that this is paper, and it's sturdy, right?
Yep.
It's not.
Yep, it's sturdy. And when it was finished, I did spray it.
At all.
I sprayed it with something called Stiff and Stuff just to make the paper a little bit harder.
That's great.
But
beautiful colors too.
Yeah, I happen to like those soft colors. I'm a soft color person. This is a little tiny flower basket.
Oh, how pretty.
And it's all done with quilling. The basket is quilled. The inside, I made just a big coil that I could stick the flowers into and onto.
Oh, the flowers look so real. Look at the roses.
Isn't that awesome?
Oh my goodness. Even the daisy.
Yeah.
And the butterfly. I love the butterfly on the handle. It's really pretty.
And then most of the cards and things that you see hanging around the top of the room are things that quillers have sent me from all over the world for different reasons. Just sometimes to say hello, or, you know, I'm glad we spoke.
And it's great that they're sending their crafty work to you as well, sharing it. That's really great. Wow. Pat, I want to say thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me today showing me your beautiful creations and talking about Whimsiquills. I think it's just wonderful how your passion for quilling has actually blossomed into this wonderful business. It's benefiting like the worldwide quilling community and their friends and family and their customers and the suppliers, everyone. It just seems like a win-win situation for everybody.
It's definitely a win-win situation. Yeah, and I'm really glad that, you know, that you're willing to do this, because it'll reach out, it'll bring quilling to some other people that have never seen it before.
So now you have a website if people are interested in checking out your supplies and the information?
Right, whimsiquills.com.
Okay.
And on the website we sell the supplies. We also have free instructional sheets and reference materials and free patterns for people who want to play, as well as supplies themselves.
Right. Okay, well hopefully people will be interested and they'll check out your website. And thank you again.
You're welcome.
It was wonderful.
It was nice meeting you.
You too.